enough of those shenanigans. Thank you again for coming to another episode of New England Fine Living at Sugarwood. And I have been busy. So some of you who follow on Instagram have had the sneak peek of the painted great room. Now, I did keep the walls that are paneled natural. One, I wanted to see what it looked like. Two, they are full of knots, holes everywhere. So prepping, if I did paint them down the road, would take forever. But I thought today I would show you a little bit of the painting project, a little before, a little during, and then you're going to see the after. Then I'm going to, what am I going to do? Then I'll just show you a little few snippets of things that I'm working on around the house. I've been having fun decorating, but I have not been having fun. Last week we had contractors here, I would say 24/7. It felt like it, but they were here from 7 in the morning to about 4:30, 5:30 at night. And we not only lost power due to a storm, we had so many people here for over 6 days between well companies, heating companies, electricians. I know I'm missing somebody. We thought our well went dry. Ended up luckily just being a lever was hit by accident and it shut down the power, or it shut down the water to the pump. We had no hot water for 4 days. We had no heat for a while because they were putting in the new systems. A lot was going on, but all is good now. And you know what? It's minor stuff. Ben and I were a little grumpy at the beginning. Ben and I were like, this is not what we signed up for. And we knew there would be some mishaps. But we're so grateful to be here at Sugarwood. Now, let's do a little tour of this room. I'm going to show you during the day. And I'm waiting for it to snow. I want to do some outdoor videos because the snow I shared with you a couple weeks ago, it's gone, it's melted. But I figured I'd do a little bit of outdoor decorating as well. It's almost done. It's almost done. And you might be asking yourself, why am I all dressed up? 2 reasons. Actually, 3 reasons. One, I was supposed to go to a friend's tea party and I was looking forward to getting dressed up and meeting some women I haven't met before, having a day out after the contractors left. But the contractors had to come back and I was unable to attend. So I probably would have worn this dress because it's so comfortable. I love this wrap dress. 2, I saw on A Christmas in Connecticut, I was watching it the other day, and I love the 1940s clothing era, and this is maybe 50s also. I saw in Christmas in Connecticut these feathered paneled walls that just made me like this room even more. This is that era. Here goes my dishwasher. This is the same era as that movie was filmed, and I liked seeing it. They had both natural and painted, and I could even tell that in the black and white video. Also, I'm just done with being in jeans and sneakers and work boots. That hasn't always been my MO. You know, since I've moved here, I've just kind of let myself go. I've been working, just like busy. And I just haven't given myself the time to dress up, which I do love to do. And I figured today, I'm gonna wear my dress. I'll probably take these shoes off so that you don't hear me clomping around while we take the tour. But I just wanted to get dressed up, and that's one thing with fine living is you don't have to go out of your home. You don't have to have company. You just pull something from your closet that's comfortable, that makes you feel good, and makes you feel maybe empowered. And do something, as long as you're not painting or something super messy. Today, we're gonna do a Christmas tour. I'm gonna putter around the house. And I'm okay wearing this. It's very comfortable. I might even put on my Sperry slippers, which is a New England brand, and walk around the house with those on. I have some old aprons that I found wrapped in a box around dishes from my mother-in-law that were easily 50s and 60s. They would look so cute with this dress. Maybe I'll show you that sometime. So that's why I'm all dressed up. And I just needed to. Also, this wall here, One thing I mentioned on Instagram is I wanted to take this artwork down, but Ben's traveling and I couldn't get it down with my wing. I'm very limited now, and that's another reason I want to do more of the house tours now. I don't know how much I'm going to get done. I had trouble even doing my hair today, and I can't lift my arm up over my head anymore. So that said, you're going to see some decorating that might not be done. Ben has offered to help, but right now he's away working and he won't be back until tonight. So I just did what I could, and I know you'll understand. Because next year, the house will be done, and then I'll really be able to do this house the way I envision it. But I like how it looks now. So let's take this little house tour of the great room, the library room, and a few little things I've done around the house, inside and out, and hopefully it will inspire you with some ideas for your own Christmas decorating or just home decorating in general. All right, so let's go take a little tour. I'm gonna take these shoes off because you don't need to hear that. All right, so I figured I'd start our little pre-Christmas tour here. I did have some greenery around Horatio Haskell here, but I took it down when I was trying to do it over another door and it just didn't work out, so it will go back. Here is the mini split. It's not as pretty as the pretty writing desk, but I was told if I wanted I could paint it out, so I'm waiting to decide if this will be painted at all, the wall, or not, or you know, it might just disappear to my eye at one point. Have not moved the chair yet, but let me show you the kissing ball that we did last week. It is still pretty and green, but it is most definitely a little bit dried out. So this potato didn't hold the moisture as much as I thought it would, but then again, I don't know if Oasis would have kept it much more moist, if that's the word I want. So it looks pretty here in the room. I'm pleased with it. And if it does turn another odd color, it will just go outside because it was free to make. The only thing I had was ribbon on hand. The rest was free. So, oh, and maybe a, 10 cents potato? I don't know. But this wall over here, going for kind of my New England English country style, I pulled together the hunt theme prints that I purchased at a consignment store. I think I got them for $35 or $38 each. As soon as I saw them, I knew I loved them. The color is more muted. It's not a bright red, it's not a bright blue. They're very dusty and muted, which I like. Very calming, for me at least, they're very calming to the eye. I got them thinking I was going to do just the 4 on this wall here, but like I just said, I couldn't get this artwork down on my own, so I figured I would build this vignette with that in the center, get the prints up off the floor, because I'm not sure when I'll be able to do this. Plus, I want to get a larger piece of furniture here. I found the piece of furniture I wanted, let me see, 2 years ago at a consignment store. It was a beautiful piece, and I saw the exact, I believe it was Habersham, the exact piece was used by Charles Faudré. I have some French followers here. Please help me out with that pronunciation. You can spell it out phonetically for me. But it was a piece that he used, and I found it in the book after I fell in love with it. But at that point, we still had Groton House, and I just wouldn't have been able to fit it into the butler's pantry where I wanted it. This is the exact space it would have been beautiful for. It was a nice satin patina. I don't know if it was English walnut or pine, I'm drawing a blank now, but it was beautiful. And I could have put these stools underneath it. But I kept the prints all up, and then I added some faux garland, which is from Magnolia. I got it 2 years ago at Target when I did a Christmas home tour in Concord for a client. And then the 2 urns, these are exactly the same way they were on the Thanksgiving table. I thought I was going to tuck some greens in them. I decided I didn't need to because I have the faux greens here around the candle holder here in the center, and I have the faux greens. I will be adding live greens when we have our family dinner for Christmas, but right now it's fine. I think it's beautiful the way it is. Then I also decided to bring in some old suitcases. I have used them under this table in the past, but it's one to hide the cords as much as possible. I've actually have the cords taped along the back, but you can still see them along the floor there. But I wanted to hide the bright white outlet, and then I put a little English riding hat on there. And I thought it was kind of a fun play off of the English riding hat in this picture, whereas in this one, I have, I'm going to try not to give you a complete look at this room yet. I have the top hat, and I did this last year to work with the tally-ho wallpaper. I'm going to give you a quick look at what I'm going to do with the tally-ho wallpaper in the other room soon. So all in all, I like this little vignette. It's very holiday-ishous for me. Holiday-ishous. I make up a lot of words, I do realize that, but that's okay. We call them Linda-isms here at the house. But I will leave this the way it is for the holidays, she says with a smile and a twinkle in her eye. I always move things. You know me, I do. So let's now move along here and take a look at this part of the room. When I do the full house tour, I will have a fire going in the fireplace or the wood stove. I'll have the candles lit. We'll do a daytime and a nighttime. I'm also going to show some snippets at the end here where I did some night videos, but I figured I'd do it this way for now. I mentioned on Instagram, just don't look behind the cabinet doors. It's not because there's a mess in there. Actually, there's no mess. It's all just dishes and some of my china. I just didn't paint the inside of the cabinets. I figured, why? If you're a perfectionist, yes, I'm sure you would have painted them. I'm going to try to back up here without falling over Willow, who is right here by my feet. So I wanted to show you, I have the painted going right into the wood. What are your thoughts? Now, Ben said that he would kind of like it if I wrapped the room. And I know I mentioned this when I do one of the outtakes for the video while I'm painting, but I want to show you something. These walls are full, just chock full of holes, all kinds of holes from, the knotty pine that fell out, nail holes. It's just kind of overwhelming. So I would have a lot of filling and sanding to do. I'm not sure if I want to go through that. I did buy a cleaner to try to maybe see if I can bring down the stain color a bit because this has darkened over time. But I like how it looks. And once I have the overhead lights in this room, it will probably brighten it up a bit more. Now back here, I have tape and a cord because the previous owner, the only way to get the TV up was, I guess, to drill up through here, drill through the back, and then drill through here. So until I build a little tiny wood channel to cover that, I just painted the tape. That's just what I do. I have my Christmas books out here. My childhood Night Before Christmas. I read that last year. It's here on YouTube. and then the one that I read to my children. There is a light in here. It's a kind of a blue light. And I think from older photos from two owners ago, this is where they might have had a family Bible, is my guess. It was a very large book. Here's the wreath that I had on the hutch in the hutch in the sitting room last year. I'll see if I can find a photo of last year to overlay right here. And I'm just going to shut this off because the light is a little distracting. Now for the shelf configurations, I mention when I'm doing the painting part about having extra shelves, and that's because I chose for now to leave 2 of the shelves, it might have even been 3 of the shelves out at the top here and also on this side. I wanted a place to put some art and light candles. Now that we've already had 2 power outages, I'm going to load this house up with candles for sure. Our generator is still being fixed. We have a whole house generator that's actually a car engine. All the guys that come here to work on the house see this contraption in the garage from a previous owner and they love it, but it needs something, I think, a radiator. So these are prints from Williamsburg, and while I'm mentioning those, one of my newer consignment finds, actually no, this was not a consignment find. This was from, of all places, our Town Dumps swap shop. They have a whole building for books and they have a building for items. And I was able to find these 2 books, Williamsburg Reproductions, Interior Designs for Today's Living. Now, I've looked at these online and I wished I had them on my shelf. Manifestation, maybe? You know I believe in this. So these were at the free book swap shop. This is also Williamsburg reproduction items. So I like having them together here on the shelf. Now before I put all the books back, my plan was to have items to help us find the category. For example, these are all of my New England books. And there's also the book tree. I thought it was pretty appropriate to put the book tree here that we made last year. There's a picture of Ben and I when we went to a gala many years ago. But there, once again, if you wanted to make the book tree, it's on one of last year's videos. I'll link that below if I remember. If I don't remember, please mention it in the comments below, and I will put it below and then let you know it's there. But I have these books by category. I have a mixture of decorating books here, and then I have a couple that talk about seasons. But what's confusing is some of them are also New England, so I did split a few up. I have here a Scottish country house. This was given to me by one of my dear friends, and a lot of these are also my nationality, so it's fun. I've got the French, the English, the Scottish here. I don't have any books about Irish, but that's, old houses and decorating farmhouses, Christmas collection. And then over here, it's a lot of my colonial home reference books. Colonial style, new old house. We have Martha Stewart's New Old House here, antiquing, period details. Then up top, it's all about entertaining and etiquette. And once again, that's why I kind of had the teapot and drink items here for entertaining. These will all be restyled at one point. Once I finished painting and waited for it to dry, I was exhausted. So some of these might be upside down, I don't know, but that can wait. Some of these books I also took the jacket covers off because the colors were so bright versus what I wanted. So when I was talking about splitting up my books, I had gardening all together on the other shelf. I ended up bringing in my gardening books over here. And then some of them I have my old gardening books, but there's also some New England books here, and I was so torn. Do I put the New England garden books with New England books, or do I put them here? I decided to put them together. I have some of the birds' nests that I have found down on the ground. And then I have this terrarium that I purchased at a landscaping store, I'm going to say maybe 16 years ago or so. This cat, I purchased it at the very first furniture store I worked at. I was probably in my early 20s. Then I have more gardening books. I have an Audubon book here, another Martha Stewart book. I have my book here on Tasha Tudor's garden, which I really like. Mixture of old books, some of Ben's reading books, and then I have the paperback books hidden behind the door. Down below, photo albums, and I have a box of photos that are going to go back there as well. Now turning the corner here slowly, because I don't want to make any of you dizzy. I've got some boxes there that are still going to go upstairs. This I have not finished yet. You'll see it on the home tour. But I've so far put up a wreath, once again, physically challenged here, but I got it up there for you. And I have the pheasants. A couple of you said I should leave them out for Christmas. They've actually always been out for Christmas. I usually tie a little bow around them, and I need something for in here. So this is going to be different for sure during the house tour. And I want to also show you something. This candle, let me see here, I got to take this off. I got to change hands. See what I mean in the background about this wood? This would be a challenge to paint it. So, this candle, I found these at a store in Littleton, Mass. And the color was very close to what I was looking for. It's a green, but it has a blue tone to it. It's hard to see in this lighting. I purchased these probably late summer before we moved because I liked the color. I'm going to see if the color changes when I walk around. Oh, you can see it is changing. So it's almost identical to the paint color. But I wanted this as reference, and I had that with me as well when I was looking for paints. Just put this back. I'm going to light them too. A little design tip, even if you don't light your candles and keep them going, light the tips so that it doesn't look like you're in a retail store. It's okay to light them, use them. Even if you have beautiful shaped candles like a bumblebee or something, light them. That's what they're for. Enjoy them. I'm going to have these lit for you. And I did light these. I was in the room for a good couple hours to make sure that the heat did not go too close to the top there. It did not at all. So I do know I have a great area to light these candles. They don't, they won't burn, but they might make some soot on the ceiling. That's a given for when you're burning candles. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here in the room. I still have some touch-up to do around my hinges. I need a little tiny paintbrush to go between the hinges, and then I have some oiled bronze touch-up paint that's in a tube that I like to use for things like this. People asked how I did this so quickly. Another reason other than that I am 100%, I have ADHD, I'm OCD, so you can ask Ben. I was up at 6 in the morning till 10 at night for 2 days probably painting this, but I don't take my doors off. That is a no-no for some. That's just what I do. Painted the windows here. I have a hospit there. And I forgot to put this little doggy back when I was looking for, is it Charles Faudray? I was looking for something. I mentioned I'm looking for a sideboard, and it was, I thought in his book, but it must be in one of my magazines that I saw. And then the little Beatrix Potter. I found this at a consignment store. I forget what I paid. I don't know if I already showed these to you. But then I also got my first little Beatrix Potter book, The Tale of Two Bad Mice. So I'm actually looking forward to reading those. And I have mixed in here on the fox tree, I have some of the children's ornaments. I have an ornament from my beloved dog that I lost, Chloe. And update, still no foxes found. I've gone through everything. So I will be adding a few more family ornaments here since this is in our main room. I want to see those. I got one of my son's popsicle ornaments on already. And over here, this little soldier is from my childhood, and he always hung over a mirror in our family room. And it was the most special present. When I opened him up, my mother gave him to me, and I cherish that. So I think that's it for this room until we do the tour. I'm thinking of bringing this little birdhouse church in and putting it somewhere in the house with a little fake wreath on the door, or maybe on the porch. And maybe let's go on the porch right now. I'm going to show you something I made in the dark last night. We're going to see this for the first time together. I'm not kidding. It was dark out there. We don't have good lighting on the porch at all. I have 2 star lights that I purchased. I'm going to put out there. Okay, we made it through the kitchen, and it's not as bad as I thought it was. I was in one of my modes last night again. I was just busy. All right, so I did a little bit out here. I'm going to do a bit more before I do the whole Christmas house tour. But I brought this artwork out that was sent to me years ago from another social media influencer. I don't like that word influencer. I don't want to influence anybody. I like maybe tastemaker or inspirer, but that's another thing. This chest is also something that's followed me around. This used to have butter balls in it, and it was found in the barn loft of a house that my parents owned in Maine at one point. It was their second getaway home. And when they opened it up, balls of butter wrapped in wax paper were still in there. It's kind of gross, and it's covered with the milk paint. The chairs, these were from Ben's grandparents, I think. And then they had them, and they were covered in definitely a 1970s orange and green floral, and they also had back cushions that had seen their better day. Underneath were these cushions. I'm going to have these recovered, and then I'll be painting the chairs out, but right now I'm going to keep them white. Still not sure what I'm going to do here on the walls. Now, I did see that Alan Smith, on one of his YouTube videos, he used a burlap on a wall, then painted it. I might do that. I might do clapboards in here. This might even be used up for part of the kitchen remodel, because there's enough space in here if we wanted to put up a wall and tuck the fridge in the wall or the washing machine. We're not sure yet. But I did tell the kitchen designer I am open to that if it doesn't take too much extra labor to do so. All right, so let's look at what I did here. This is funny. Got some gifts here, too heavy to move, so I'm going to wrap it to look like a present on the porch. And then when my stepson shows up, hopefully he's not watching the video. But yesterday I pulled in the urn and I tucked greens in it. Some of these twigs were from Groton House. I have a bunch of them in the Sugar Shack, so I decided to stick them in there. And then yesterday when I was out in the garden, I found this bird nest that must have been knocked down in the very heavy wind the other day. So I tucked that in, and I have some more red berries. So all in all, I think I did a pretty darn good job knowing it was dark in here. I just couldn't shut down. Up here we have a candle, a battery operated candle. I had this old lantern at the other house, and when this is going, it looks so cute. And do you guys remember my whale? He was with us in our Littleton house, which was 1988 home, and I really like it. Actually, it's a her. There's a name on the back. I forget what her name is, but the artist named her. Gotta have clippers on hand. So we have this set up so that we can go out and do some work whenever we want. And I do have a little mess here, but I don't care. I even last night put some greens over the wood pile here. Not sure if that will stay. but it was an extra piece that I found that I needed something to do with it, so that's where it ended up. So we have kind of a very rustic country looking room here, my little country home. It's not quite me, but I do like having different looking rooms in each house. And speaking of different looking rooms, I'm going to give you a sneak peek now of the family room, which I decided to glam it up a bit. I like my bling. And a quick look here in the kitchen. I'll show you my tree this year. I'm still deciding if I want to put some sparkly baubles on it. I kind of like that it's kind of toned down and natural looking, but in the daylight when there's no lights on, it's kind of plain looking. But I have on this tree, I have some of the sliced oranges that I made. These were actually from last year. I had them in a baggie of rice to keep moisture out. But in years past, I've had little critters eating them, so I was lucky this year. I have small wood apples. I have the cinnamon applesauce ornaments that I made last year. And that video is on a last year episode. I will link that below as well. I have some dried apples. And I have the copper cookie cutters from my childhood that I actually made all my Christmas cookies with. So if I need one, I know where they are for the holidays, but right now they are adorning my tree. I'm just trying to find the gingerbread man. I'm pretty sure I said this last year. Oh, there he is. I always wondered why my gingerbread man had a pointy head on it, and everybody else's gingerbread men had rounded ones. Did anybody else wonder that? What is up with that? So, but he got front and center here on the tree. And I have a bunch of fairies this year. He's the only fairy that pretty much made it out because he's holding his fruit in his fruit basket. He's got the pear on there. And so I also put some pears on the tree. All of these pears, all of these apples are from consignment store shopping. I found them over the years, picked them up. Some of them have been pulled off of wreaths that other people had, or they might have been on cone trees that were just past their point of loveliness, and I reused them. Over here, I have done nothing with my shelves yet, but I will style these up a bit for the home tour, for the Christmas home tour. And over here, I have one of the nutcrackers. I didn't know what to do with this container. I had a candle in it in the past, but it seemed to smoke oddly, so I don't use it for live candles anymore. And I just put a few of the little pine cones that were from one of our trips in Maine last year. It's the same grouping of pine cones that I made the Christmas tree with, the pine cone Christmas tree. And then I have this green ribbon. Let's see if I can get my arm over there. There we go. I have that green ribbon. I'll probably add to the top of that with some live greens. And speaking of live greens, these are greens left over from when I made the kissing ball last week. They are also kind of dry. If I touch this right now, it's probably gonna fall, but I'm gonna leave it there for now. I can replenish it if I want, and then I just have a couple candles. I have a question for you though. Would you like me to set this table up using maybe my old Staffordshire square plates or rectangular plates that I found last year? Or I'm trying to think, maybe I should do a red theme. I'm not sure what I want to do. Or just leave it as is. I don't know. Now, in the living room, this room, I have not even touched it yet. So I decided to leave the walls blank, and until I decide what I want to do, it is what it is. Now, this at one point I was told was a master bedroom. Nice small little but cozy master bedroom. I just don't know what to do here. Might do some candle sconces, but it's a very tiny mantle. And have I mentioned that I do think, yes, I have mentioned this, but for those of you who are watching for the first time, I'm going to see if I can get some shadowing. It looks like there's some names carved in this, like right there. I've got my own shadow making it. It looks like I can see a C and an H. So I'm going to be stripping this. It could have been done by wood bugs, but I don't know. Let's see if I can get a better angle. I don't like the brown anyways, so where was that C and H? So, right there it looks like there's a 7. Can you see that? It's kind of hard. I tried to do a rubbing, but there's so many layers of paint that it's not deep enough. So I do have a stripper. Now that looks like I can almost see 1917, but it could just be my mind playing tricks on me, seeing what I want to see. But I'm going to definitely strip this. One, because over here, just when I put something on when we first moved in, it's peeling. I'm not sure, look how easy that's coming off. This is almost like an oil based might have been used on top of latex, but I found a brown paint and it's latex only, so I'm going to strip this, get this down to bare wood, see what I can find, and then I'll paint it out to go with the design of this room. I'm almost thinking this room might be fun to do as maybe black and white, but this would also be fun for the tally-ho room, but the molding is a little lower than I wanted to do. And I'm going to take you into the tally-ho room, or the tavern room, now to show you something. I moved the writing desk in here. This is completely all temporary because we took Ben's desk out and put it in the guest bedroom. But there was a light here. It's not centered to the room, but I do believe that that used to be a pass-through to the kitchen. It's very difficult. You have to go through this door or this door to get to the kitchen. I'm in one of what I think were 3 rooms in the original Cape. But let's get to the reason I was mentioning this. I put up the tally-ho wallpaper to see what I thought in this room. And then I also have some of the paper that I got for Groton House's shelves. I thought it might be cute to do this bar with that in the back if I don't take this out and make it a straight shot through. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Another print that I got at a consignment store for Ben, because I liked how it kind of mimicked the old golf clubs of his grandfather's. Once again, I have mess in the dining room because I'm doing that over. So I have a sample here. You can see it's pearlized. Maybe you can't in this lighting. And I have a sample over here. What's interesting is this room only has 1 window, whereas the sitting room in Groton had 3 windows, but this wallpaper seems to be reflecting it a little bit nicer because of the pearlescent background. Yeah, you don't really see it in the video, but anything that has the white is pearlescent. So I know I have enough to do 1 wall. I might have to order more. I'm deciding if I will be doing the same Rockport gray, which really worked nicely with one of these tones of taupey gray in the wallpaper, or am I going to do something lighter and brighter? And I don't think I showed this. Certainly did not show this. This will be going maybe in the butler's pantry or part of the kitchen remodel. But over here is where there was a 3rd fireplace. Right where the writing desk is, you can see where they filled in where the hearth was. It was my stepson that actually, when he looked in the wall, there's a door on the other side of this wall further back that you can see through the fireplace chamber, for lack of better words. and you could tell there was a third fireplace here. So we walked in here and saw the floor. So there's our confirmation, and in the old book I have from our town, it does state this home had 3 fireplaces. All right, friends, I'm going to save the rest for the tour. The dining room I have completely pulled apart still from when the workers were here, the contractors. I gotta put everything together, but I'm tired. You know, I do get tired, and I think it's time for me to put down the camera. I'm going to actually make myself a little batch of white hot chocolate. It's store-bought, but I made one myself last year. I'm gonna try to perfect my recipe before I share it, because I prefer white hot chocolate over milk chocolate. Delicious. That's my little sneak peek for now. I'm waiting for it to still snow, so I hopefully will be able to put a little snippet in of the snow and outside for you. If not, hopefully we'll have some for the Christmas home tour.